Welcome back to the Home Studio Simplified channel. You know what today is. Today is let's just hang out and talk with copious amounts of coffee. That's right. We got a new update in Cakewalk by BandLab. It's the 2012.2 update. Now this is part of a early release program. So this has not completely been vetted yet. It's not officially released as a Cakewalk insider. They've not given me any information as to when it's going to be officially released. However, anybody can be on the early release program. In fact, I've included a link in the description of this video where you can go and check that out if you'd like to be involved in that and sort of get the updates before anyone else does. So what we're going to do today, though, is just kind of look over what they've added, see if it's worthwhile, see what it's like. And I'll answer some questions while I'm here as well. Looks like I've already got some questions in the chat. Yes, we do have rain. There's quite a bit of rain going on. It's good to see everybody in the chat, by the way. I'll be getting to you here just momentarily. But first, if this is your first time here, this channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. We can dream alone, yes, and we can even create alone. But together we can achieve so much more. That's the motto around here. It's what we live by. It's our creed. It's our doctrine. It's our whatever you want to call it. It's just what we do. It's how we roll. So if you want to pick up what we're putting down, then you'll dream, create, and achieve together too. I'm in rare form today, by the way. Let's take a look at these awesome individuals right here who are keeping the lights on, so to speak. These are individuals who have seen that all of the time that's being invested here on the channel is worth something. So they are giving in some way, shape, or form monetarily, monthly. You can see here at the very top, those are our top givers: James Sheets, Chris Knowles, Gordon Grinnell. Everyone below that has either given through the Patreon page, or they have also given through the YouTube membership that's also here. Now, there are going to be some videos coming up here very shortly that will only be Patreon exclusive videos. For instance, I'm getting ready to upload a video to Patreon for the members only. For the Patreon members only. This will not be uploaded to YouTube, just simply because of many different reasons. But and we're going to be breaking down the raw tracks, doing a reaction sort of video, more or less a production breakdown of the Beatles: A Day in the Life. So if you want to check that out, head on over to Patreon. For $1 a month, you can get all kinds of goodies. If you want to up that to $10 a month, you can even get more goodies. And then whenever we reach a certain threshold, we'll have tons and tons of giveaways. So with that being said, let's also give a shout out to our sponsors who help keep the lights on as well. Today's video is sponsored in part by the 𝗶𝗄 Academy. The 𝗶𝗄 Academy offers affordable courses from mentors, world-class engineers, Grammy winners, and multi-platinum selling producers. And with the resources available on the 𝗶𝗄 Academy, you can learn how to create radio-ready mixes from the comfort of your own home studio. Most of the courses also offer multi-tracks that you can then add to your portfolio and begin to build out your business. Follow the link in the description of this video to head on over to the 𝗶𝗄 Academy today and start learning the skills that are needed to take your hobby or your business to the next level. Awesome. Here we are, folks. As you can see, we've got Cakewalk up on the screen now, and we're going to be diving into some of that. But first, we've got some questions that are coming in. Got my nice little candle burning here. Look at this. Picked up this new bad boy. This is a coconut mahogany. Got a nice little manly smell to it, you know. But it also creates a little vibe in here. Gets one ready for the live streaming. So the question was posed, where can we find this Patreon page? Well, it is in the link in the description of the video. But if you want to find out about the Patreon page and many other things that are happening over here, I'm going to be posting a link in the chat right about now. DJ Big Red 81 is all over it. By the time I actually got to it, he's already got it going. All right, good deal. Good deal. Okay. Well, now, let me check out the chat real quick. See who all's in here. DJ Big Red 81. He's a staple here on the channel. Mob the Gamer. He's a pillar. Man alive. He's been here since the cows came home. Ben Grauer. What is up, Ben? Jazzy Music. Good to see you again. Michael V. Good to see you. Tall Someone. Yes, we are getting rain. I think I already answered that, but Priscilla Short. Good deal. Good to see you. LA Winter. Nice. It was a newbie that returned. Craig Theme, good to see you. Barry Fitzgerald, excellent musician, and he's in the chat today too. Mokir, he's in here. Adam Grossman, good to see you. Or Grossman, sorry. I'm not sure how to say it. I don't even know why I'm apologizing. I could have been saying it the right way the first time. Who knows? I got my trusty America hat on today. This was a early Christmas present from the wife, so definitely liking this. But yeah, let's go ahead and start looking at what exactly the newest edition of Cakewalk has to offer. By the way, if you guys want to donate through the super chat feature today, we've added this new element here to the streams where if you, as you can see, I'm struggling with it, where if you donate through a super chat of any amount, you can light this entire room up like a disco ball. I know it's cheesy, isn't it? I love it. I love cheesiness. Check it out. This is what it'll look like. Okay, that's, there it goes. Oh, it was late. There we go. It's not like overboard, but you know, it's cool nonetheless. And it's blinding me right now, actually. Yeah, it's right in my face. It's all up in my word hole. It's blinding me over here. So yeah, if you want to light the room up like a disco, donate through a super chat of any amount, and you can help us to have some sort of a Bee Gees party up in here. I hardly think so. Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and dive into, let's see what's on this desktop here. What's going on with it? What exactly do we have that's new? Whoa, we just got, as soon as I say that, people, I'm not doing the dance. Thank you so much, Michael V. Appreciate that. He asked the question, does anyone know if we can apply the 2x upsampling to the Pro channel and how to do that? You know, that's a great question. I believe whenever you, I'm going to have to turn this thing off. It's blinding me now. Let me turn this light off real quick. Thank you so much. I believe that, whenever you, let me just go back to the desktop like this. So whenever you click this 2x upsampling rate that's here, we got, you guys are blinding me. I love it. I do believe that applies to everything, like every plugin in its entirety. So that would be Pro channel as well as anything else. So Barry Fitzgerald, if you check out the link that I just posted here, I'll actually pin it so make it easier to find. All you had to do is just scroll down to the Patreon page and you should go straight to it then. And if you're already a Patreon member, that might be why it's doing that. So I think you are actually. So thank you so much, Mob the Gamer. Appreciate that, buddy. The sampler for Cakewalk. Yes, this is a question of the ages, is it not? Man alive, this, as soon as it goes around, it starts blinding me like crazy. There we go. All right. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question about the 2x upsampling rate. That applies to everything within the mix, every plugin, whether it's Pro channel or in the effects bin. That's sort of a global thing. So hope that makes sense. So as far as a sampler in Cakewalk, we do not have a sampler as of yet. However, we did at one point in time in the old Cakewalk, when it was still called Cakewalk Sonar, there was a sampler called the TTS1. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might even be able to pull it up here. because I still have all of my old install files from decades ago. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Default TTS1. We had Cyclone. That was kind of the same thing. Yeah, it used to have those. So unfortunately, whenever Cakewalk by BandLab bought them out, we lost that. So yeah, here's the old sampler. Pretty cool. Very dated looking, but pretty cool. All right, so we got some more questions coming in. That's good. Let me put these up on the screen. Makes it a little bit easier for everybody to see. Okay, got that up there. Now let's bring it out here. There we go. So that was Lost who asked that question. Thank you so much for the questions. So Michael V says, not the case. You still need to enable each plugin per session in the top left corner. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Sorry. I'm assuming that was to your previous question. Does anyone know if we can apply the 2x upsampling to the Pro channel and how to do that? Oh, sweet. Mob the Gamer says that the TTS1 is still included in Cakewalk now. So yeah, you still have a sampler of sorts. It's just not the world's greatest sampler. LA Winter has dropped some knowledge bombs here. He says SamplifiedLab does. It lets you extract MIDI from polyphonic loops. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a look here at the desktop. And I'm going to show you one of the new features that they've just added is folder nesting. So in times past, you could always add folders into your project. So all of these tracks right here, all these crazy amount of tracks right here, these are all vocals. So I'm going to go to, I keep going to the wrong. There we go. Let me get my mug off the screen. There we go. And then we'll zoom in here. So I can right click after I've inserted all or highlighted all these, and I can go to move to folder. I'm going to say new track folder, and I'm going to call this vocals. Imagine that, because that's what it is. And then now when I zoom back out here, I can just collapse that, and all of those vocals now are collapsed inside that folder. So according to what Cakewalk is saying now, let's say I want to take these harmonies and I want to insert them into a subfolder. Now that's where let's see. This is the first time I've actually done this, so this is kind of cool for me too. Maybe they have to be out of the folder first. Let me see if that's the case. Okay. And now here we go. Okay, I got it now. This is the cool part of kind of going through these updates together, because in all honesty, I haven't used this yet, so it's actually kind of cool to see how intuitive it really is. So if you have your vocals folder already created, like I have here, I can right click on that and go to insert track subfolder. So now whenever I open it up, here's folder 2 within that folder, and I can call this one harmonies. Now I can go over here and select these harmonies, move to track folder, vocals, and harmonies. Very cool. Very cool. So as you can see, now I've got my vocals folder, and then I've got my harmonies within my vocals folder. So really, it's just a great way to clean everything up, especially if you're working with large track counts. This particular mix right here that I'm going to be working on for a client is 70 tracks. So I'm going to definitely be utilizing these folders and subfolders. So what are some ways that you guys feel like this might be useful for you to use? I know some of you work a lot with MIDI instruments. So with that being said, oh, sweet. Thank you so much, Barry Fitzgerald. You are awesome. He's now a Patreon member. Rock on, brother. And by the way, we do have, there's a caveat to this Patreon membership, which I fail to mention all the time. Not a bad one, by the way. But the reason I started the Patreon page in the first place was to have the ability to give back to the community. So whenever we start reaching a monthly income from that Patreon page of 500 or more a month, then I'm going to start purchasing gear, review that piece of gear, and then give it back to only the Patreon members. So it's a cool way to sort of give back to those who are helping to give, and it'll make your chances of winning a lot easier than hopping on a Sweetwater contest or something when there's thousands of people, which, by the way, I did win a Sweetwater contest last year. So that was I hardly ever win anything, and I won the Catalina bred 𝗶𝗍𝗶 pedal, which I used a few times. I didn't much care for it. So can you put plugins on the folder tracks? Yeah, absolutely. So any tracks that are inside these folders, you treat them like normal tracks. It's just a way for you to condense them down and sort of like make them a little bit more manageable. So yeah. Mom the Gamer says, I usually bounce my MIDIs into a wave track if it's easier to edit and manipulate. Exactly. And the only drawback to that is that now if you want to mess with that again, it's sort of baked in unless you just freeze the track. So that's the other way to get around that. So if you freeze the track, it bounces it down to an audio track, but then you can unfreeze it and mess with the MIDI again. However, I always talk about this on the channel. If you want to catapult your speeds, it actually helps you in the long run to just commit to sounds. So, oh, can you put plugins on the folder itself? No. That would be cool. Kind of like a global plugin for everything within that folder. That would be cool. Yep, that's not possible. You know what, though? That's a great idea, and it would be an awesome one for you to submit on the forums. So I've included a link in the description, by the way, if you want to go and be a part of the early release program. That will just give you access to that that section there where you can actually make those requests known. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw these here in a folder as well. I'm going to call these ones guitar. All right. And now here are a bunch of like brass, synths, organs, pianos. So these are all color-coded the same thing because in this particular mix, they're going to be more of a secondary, whereas the guitar and some of the other elements are going to be more upfront. So I don't necessarily have to separate these out color-wise. Too terrible. Synth. Actually, I can just put keys. and brass. Okay. Look at that. It went from having 70 tracks where I had no screen real estate, couldn't find anything, and then going back to, now look where I'm at. Now everything's manageable. All I have to do is just simply open up that folder and I can find it. So this is going to be percussion. I'll just call it perk because I like abbreviating stuff like that. And you can actually color the track folder as well, just to make things a little more on the up and up. So my vocals are always blue. My drums, they're always gray. My guitars, electrics are always red. Look at that. Everything is so nice and neat. And now my keys and my brass are going to be greens. Boom. 70 tracks. All on the same screen. All able to be seen. So good deal. Now, if I wanted to, I seen the question come up about in the buses. Yeah, so although you can't add a plugin to a folder to affect all of the tracks within that folder, that's a good point, 𝗬𝗓music, that you just brought up there. You can add one effect to the buses and then effectively add all that goodness onto all of the tracks that are running to that bus, everything that you're sending to that bus. So good point. All right, so that's one of the biggest features that they just rolled out. It's actually not really too big of a it's not like a huge update. So now they have a support for nested track folders. Now, to improve track organization, Cakewalk now supports nested track folders. A nested folder is a subfolder that is contained within another parent folder. Nested subfolders allow you to organize tracks more logically. For example, you can have guitar as the parent folder, then that contains electric and acoustic subfolders. So kind of like what I've done here with the vocals and then the harmonies. So to only move tracks into another folder, you can drag from one of those tracks or select the move to from the context menu of the tracks. You can move the entire folder by dragging the folder itself onto another folder, or you can do the move to yet again from the same context menu. Now, if a track is in a folder, you can select the move to folder, new track folder, which will create a new subfolder at the same level of that track, if that makes sense. So very cool. There's also been some new behaviors that have been added when dragging tracks and folders. So now dragging a track to the left side moves it out of the folder. Dragging a track to the right side moves it to the bottom of the existing folder at the target location. So if I was to open up these folders, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. Like let's say I wanted this harmony vocal here, which actually should be in the harmonies. So I'm going to move it down here to harmonies. That puts it right there in the top. Hopefully you can see that. I think I got to. Just happened. Oh. Oops. So yeah, now if I wanted to though, I could take and select this and drag it out to the left. That's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, see, that's really not working like it said it would. So they might need to, they're probably still working on that, but when dragging tracks and folders, dragging a track to the left side moves it out of the folder. Yeah, that don't make any sense. Okay, so another thing that you can do now is, hopefully this one does work, is you can expand and collapse track folders modifiers. So you can shift and click on a folder. That brings up the folder properties. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so shift and click on a folder to expand or collapse the entire folder hierarchy of the folder that you clicked on. So that means when I do that, everything within that folder, even the subfolders, are going to be opened as well. So if I was to demonstrate this once again, as you can see, I had just closed the harmonies folder, but now it's opened back up again. So if I shift click, everything in that folder comes open. That's actually kind of cool. And then if I shift click again, it closes everything in the folder, including the subfolders. Now, if I control shift click on the folder, it actually expands or collapses all folders in the project. So by doing this, now you can see all of the folders are open in the project. Control shift and click. I'm going to close the perk, but now it's going to close everything in the project. So it's kind of a cool little speed hack there. The other update that has been rolled out. So this would be update number 3 that I'm talking about. So update number 3, I guess you would call it. Yeah. So update number 3 is the localization update. The French, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, and Russian versions of Cakewalk have been updated. German and Portuguese will be updated before the public release. And there are several known localization, layout, and formatting issues, such as truncated text, etc., that will be addressed before they actually release that publicly. Okay, that's actually the big 3. So not really too much as far as updates, but there have been a lot of bug fixes. So just to do a quick recap, update number 1 was the supported of nested and tracked. Sorry, update number 1 was the support for nested track folders. Update number 2. Where's it at? Yeah, update number 2 was the ability to have new behaviors when dragging and selecting tracks. Also, the expansion and collapsing of track folders. And then number 3 was the localization update for other languages. All right, let's talk about some issues that have been resolved on the 2021.12. The stability issues that they have worked on is the crash loading export task settings. It would crash if a wildcard left in place when adding a path, a hang on project load with user project, fix for JBridge crash when flushing plugins, and they also fixed it to guard against crash or hang with sample counts going in the negative. Good deal. Looks like they also fixed some export features as well as some user interface features. And then there's, man alive, there's like 30, 40 miscellaneous upgrades and bug fixes. So yet again, if you want to go and you check that out, you can see that all on the Cakewalk forum so that you can get more acquainted with whatever has been going on. Looks like we got 24 viewers currently, and there's only 15 likes. Let's go ahead and smash that like button, drop kick that like button, kick, punch, pull the hair of the like button, do whatever them whippersnappers do these days to that like button. This basically just lets YouTube know that whatever we're doing over here has value and worth. And furthermore, I think the world needs more of niceness right now. Not to mention the fact that we've already got enough young teeny boppers dancing to songs that they don't even care about. So let's push this into the algorithm. Let's change the narrative. All right. So any more questions before we head into some other news topics? If you guys have any questions, let me know. And while I'm waiting for the questions to pour in here, yeah, no problem, Jeff. By the way, I think Jeff is a first timer. Thank you so much for being here. And I see we have Kev Grisham here, who's actually just reached out to me not too long ago and has told me about, sweet, we're up to 21 likes now. You guys are awesome. So he actually reached out and had a song that he was wanting to share. We might just be able to do that today because we don't really have, I mean, the schedule's not necessarily packed out. So I was expecting there to be more updates, or at least more in-depth updates that we would need to cover, but it looks like it's just a few. Honestly, I think sometimes that's even better, just to have a few like really useful updates and a bunch of bug fixes rather than having like 40 billion updates that takes you set you back another 3 months trying to learn all of it. Oh. All right, with that being said, let me head on over here to the YouTube or to the Gmail account, because I believe, yeah, here it is. All right, I'm going to download this song, and then we can all listen to this together. This is a song that one of the chat members has actually helped us with. The song is entitled Alone. Let's check that out.
All the same people, day after day, all the same faces, nothing to say. Can't they see that I am here alone? Same conversations filling my ears, same broken glasses turning to tears, watching by myself here alone.
Very cool.
Haven't you wondered where I have been? Haven't you noticed what I have seen? Can't they feel that I am here alone? Talk of their journeys, here, there, and far. Talk of each other, prop up the bar. On and on I feel so alone.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Surely now you're sick of your own tune, numbered stories, everyone all gloom. Talk with me, I know all about you. I can see that you don't care for the rise above. I keep telling myself, rise above, they'll end up on the shelf. What it's worth, I'm here in amongst you. Talk to me as I'm alone. Surely now you're sick of your own tune, numbered stories, everyone all gloom. Talk with me, I know all about you. I can see that you don't care for it. Rise above, I keep telling myself, rise above, they'll end up on the shelf. What it's worth, I'm here in amongst you. Talk to me as I'm alone.
Very cool. Yeah, good work, man. Got a lot of talented individuals here on this particular. Where am I at? There we go. It's going to bring up this question here. Yeah, I got a lot of talented individuals here within this community. You guys rock. So David Lasky has asked the question, which, by the way, it looks like we have another. 𝗃𝗏𝗏 has just jumped on. Another first timer. Let's give him a round of applause, as well as George Garside. Good deal. So David Lasky asked, can I edit MIDI drums with the step sequencer? Absolutely. That's actually one of the main reasons why I believe they instituted it, and individuals use it all the time. In fact, there's an excellent YouTuber who is helping individuals all the time with beat making. If you have not checked him out, his name is 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏. Secondarily, someone who's on the same level as him, honestly, who's doing a lot of great work, is 𝗥.𝗏.𝗏.𝗏. Definitely want to check him out as well. Both of these gentlemen will be able to help you get up and running, making beats in Cakewalk by BandLab. Yes, it's possible. It's very possible. So Stoney Buckner, good to see you here, buddy. Yeah, hopefully you got the email about when the next Rocket Fuel bundle session will take place. But if you guys are unaware about what exactly that is, you guys are like, what are you talking about, rocket fuels and all this? So the Rocket Fuel bundle is essentially a bundle of all of my tutorial programs. It's included with 5 Skype sessions where we actually sit down and we work through how to get you to creating music faster than you ever have before. So far, so good. We've got a lot of great results already from community members that are already in there and that are crushing it. So Stoney happens to be a part of that group. Unfortunately, due to time constrictions and time frames and stuff like that, he's not been able to make every single session. But they are pre-recorded, or not pre-recorded, but they're recorded so that you can always go back and watch them again later. I only do those like 1 or 2 times a year though, because I take 10 students or less. And then it's like the course of about 3 to 4 months where we work through these processes. And then I have homework after them anyway. You'll see it all whenever it comes out next time. So thank you all that did sign up for that. Appreciate that. All right. So any more questions by way of the chat? If you guys have any more questions, let me know. It doesn't have to be Cakewalk related. It can be anything you want to ask. Maybe you want to ask if my Christmas shopping is done yet, because I really hope it is. Woo. This is going to be a fun project to work on. Thank you, by the way. DJ Big Red 81 has just posted in the chat the links to the channels of the gentleman that I just spoke of, 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗥.𝗏.𝗏. 𝗃𝗏𝗲, Jeff Essman. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're doing well. Well, these are a lot of harmonies. I have yet to tackle this mix as of yet. I'm still waiting on the complete direction from the artist to know in which order I need to work on these first, because he sent me 10 tracks. So Fred Charlotte, he's got a good question. How can you pitch shift an out of tune note? And 𝗏𝗏 has got a question before him. I actually slipped underneath the radar. So we're going to get to Kevin's first, or Kev's first. I'm assuming his name's Kevin, and I just shortened it for him. Sorry. Robert, what level do you mix at? So I've talked about this on numerous occasions. When it comes to levels, you want to mix at lower levels than what you would typically think. Although it's really great to listen to a mix when it's up in your face and there's, the room's bumping and you're getting your head's bobbing and all this cool stuff's happening, and that's great. It's grand. But you actually end up introducing more reflections into your room. You end up masking, and because of this, you end up masking frequencies. There's comb filtering. There's so many things that happen whenever you listen at louder levels. So try to listen at 85 dBs or less. That's going to get you, not only will it get you better results, but it's also going to help to protect your ears. Remember, your ears, once they're damaged, they're irreparable. There's hardly anything you can do for a damaged eardrum or damaged hearing. So you want to treat your ears the best way that you possibly can. So now, for me personally, I do predominantly like 90% of my mixing on headphones. In fact, the headphones that I'm wearing. And I use a proprietary not proprietary to me, but a proprietary software known as SonarWorks to help me to achieve a good end result. With SonarWorks, you can get a good end result without having to break the bank. And you don't have to spend $600 trying to level up your room, trying to treat your room. You can actually just put the plugin on and watch it do its magic, hear what it's doing to your mix in various different listening atmospheres. And much like other programs that are on the market, this one is very affordable and it really does work. So, okay, let's see if I got some more questions coming in here. That's right. How can you pitch shift an out of tune note? So generally speaking, the best way to do that is with Melodyne. Now, Melodyne, there is a trial that comes with Cakewalk. But with that being said, let me open up a different one here. Let me open up a project that doesn't have 70 tracks. It'll be a little bit easier on everyone. But yeah, there's actually an option. If you don't want to get Melodyne, the full version, it is kind of pricey, but man, it is so worth it. And there's a link in the description as well for you to go and get that. And if you do, you'll help to support the channel at no extra cost to you, because I am one of the first affiliates of Melodyne. So, however, maybe you don't own Melodyne, maybe you don't have the trial, maybe you don't, there are still other ways to do that. So let's take a look at that here. Let's say that I have a note here on this, this pad. Okay. So I can literally just come in here, select any note that I'd like, go up here to the process tab, apply effect, or I'm sorry, transpose. And this will let me transpose that portion of audio that I've selected by any amount. And I can go up one semitone, negative semitones, can transpose the audio, or I can use diatonic math to do so. And then you can choose which kind of, what type you're going to use. Elastic Pro, bass solo. There's all kinds of different versions there. But that's how I would do it. On a vocal, it's actually easier because you can usually just take one phrase and transpose it. Yeah, great question though. Where was I? Okay, so Keith Ferris says, how would I turn a vocal down as a general level after I've applied a ton of automation to it? So there's a couple different ways you can do this. If you go to the, oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. If you go to the console view, you'll notice that at the top of each one of these channel strips, there's a gain knob. Now that's on the track panel too. I don't want to mislead you. It just won't be here because I'm using MIDI instruments. So there isn't gain, it's just velocity. But if I was to insert an audio track, you'll see here on the audio track as well. If I get my mug out of the way here, that there is a gain as well. Now this is different from the volume, so you have to be careful when using it, especially if you have a lot of plugins, because then you're going to be driving that vocal into the plugins. So if you have any kind of saturation, it's going to now get more distorted. So you got to be careful doing that. But there is a way to do it that way. And then obviously there are plugins that you can get as well that are just literally like one knob. They're just a gain knob, or they're just a trim knob. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. Hopefully that'll help. Good questions, by the way. You guys are knocking the questions out of the park. You may want to look into Melodyne for that. Yes, definitely. And by the way, while I'm there, might as well go ahead and hit you with the link. So if you want to go and check it out, see what the prices are like now, all that goodness, you can just follow the link that I'm posting in the chat right now. And this will take you to their website where you can go and check that out. Jeffy's, I can't say it, man. Jeffy's man says, thanks again for your time putting on your stream. Always helpful knowledge. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Christmas. Oh no. Is that this year? I knew I had something that I needed to get done on the to-do list. Yeah. Ronnie Houston. Hey, how's it going, buddy? I believe he's a first timer. Good to have you here, Ronnie. If you're not, there's some round of applause for you anyway. I do know that 𝗏𝗏 is a new timer. First timer, new timer, whatever it is. He's one of them. So he says, I don't know if you can answer this question, but what program do you use to dissect songs like Michael Jackson's Billie Jean raw tracks, for example? Those are actually, it's not a program that's doing that. Those are actually individuals that have found leaked tracks from the studios that worked with Michael. They've leaked these tracks out to the general population. Somehow they've got on the interwebs and somehow they made it to me. I don't know how. In fact, I just got leaked tracks from the Beatles, A Day in the Life. I did a reaction video. I spent literally all day yesterday and like hours the day before creating this video, making this video, just uploaded it to YouTube, was ready to send it off to the world and be like, you guys got to check this out. It's blocked. So all that time essentially wasted, but not wasted because I'm going to be uploading it to the Patreon page. So if you guys want to see that video, it's going to be exclusive to Patreon members because YouTube will not let me put it on YouTube. That's just the way they are. There might be a chopped version here on YouTube, which is probably going to be cheesy, but we'll see. All right. Thank you for your hard work. I'm amazed at how thorough Cakewalk is. Yes. Well, thank you. Kev Graham says, I use the Sennheiser HD650s. Yes, those are some good headphones. I've definitely heard those. And if I'm not mistaken, those actually do have a sonic footprint, so to speak, within SonarWorks. So there's already a calibration profile for those in the SonarWorks store. Let me check this out. Oh yeah, they have a new thing right now too. If you want to get the SonarWorks as a gift for somebody, if you use gift at the checkout, they'll wrap it for you too. That's pretty cool. The Sennheiser HD650s. Yes, they do have a headphone profile for you. Very cool. That means it's already included in that software. So if you actually go and was to purchase that, you wouldn't actually have to get your headphones from them. You could just download one of their headphone profiles. Very cool. All right, I'm getting caught in the weeds over here. All right. Do you think they will add MIDI retrospective record to Cakewalk? You know, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, George. Hey, Robert and chat. My first time. Uh-oh. You know what that means. Question. When I play back a project, the tempo will fluctuate a little. I'm probably overlooking something simple. I'm using Cakewalk, by the way. So if it's not, oh, that's like being, either that's being cut off or it's too big. I think it's just too big. Yeah. So if it's not locked into a grid, there's obviously some good reasons for that because it's not locked into a grid. It's going to fluctuate a little. However, one thing that I would say though is there is a tempo map that's kind of sort of baked in to Cakewalk. So what you can do is, where is it? No, that's not it. Alt, Shift, and 5. So here's the tempo. You can actually set a tempo track. You might see if this has some sort of inconsistency in it. As you can see, this one is 90 BPMs all the way through the song. But if at any time I wanted to change that, I can just insert a tempo track and adjust the tempo based off of that. The other option is if you have, like, let's say you have your drums are a good loop. In other words, they're locked to the grid, they're in time, but everything else is kind of willy-nilly. If you take a track and you drag it up here to the top, this portion right here, and you was to drop it in there, which it's not going to do that right now because that's MIDI. As you can tell, MIDI obviously acts a lot differently than others. That's not where I wanted to go. Let's see, where's it at? Cakewalk content. Audio library. Okay, so like let's take this for instance. If I was to take this and like let's say this was in time, and it is because you can tell it's locked into a grid here. If I wanted to adjust other things in the mix to adjust to its time, then I can click this drag it up here, and as you can see, it changes color up here at the top, and it says apply region tempo. So now if I was to drop that in there, and I'm going to go ahead and release it now, it's going to ask me which processing algorithm best suits the audio material. Well, this would definitely be polyphonic because it's using chords, and I'm going to say polyphonic sustain because it's long drawn out chords. I'll hit OK. And then what I can do is actually, where's it at? Go over here to audio transients. And now I can actually have the clip follow the project or the project to follow this clip. So essentially, I can get a guitarist with bad timing to sound a little bit in better time with the drum sample I'm using. Okay. Of course, the best way to do anything is to just record it in the best way possible. Because the closer you get to having a better performance, obviously the better everything's going to come out. Okay, now as you just seen what I just did right there is I had, when I set the project to follow the tempo of that clip, it was 83.97, but I wanted the entire project to be 90. So I just adjusted that in this tempo track, and now everything's at 90. The cool thing is too, like I can adjust the tempo track with this little pencil. I can drop it down to 72 at some point. I can bring it back up to 112, and it will seamlessly take place. So check this out. See how it kind of like slowed down and then it rushed into it again? That's because of that nice little tempo track addition there. Super cool. That people don't understand, I don't think, just how powerful Cakewalk really is. I mean, it has got so many features that other DAWs are lacking in. So I might be a little biased, but 𝗠𝗵𝘅 says, what's the simplest way to export the files of your song with and without presets when exporting? And can you template that if you plan on exporting and sending lots of songs to, say, a friend's DAW? Yeah, absolutely. So real quickly, let me try to put that up on the screen. It is going to get cut off because it's a rather long question. I haven't, as of yet, figured out how to fix that. I don't know why it gets cut off, but it does. But anyway, so I digress. So if I go up here to the export menu and I go to export, and then I go to audio, I want to export it as WAV, obviously. Sorry, I'm going to click on advanced because that's going to give me this. Okay, so let's try that again. I'm going to go up here to the export tab, advanced. You can zoom in there again. That is then going to bring up this dialog box. And this dialog box is where you can actually set those templates at. So let's say I wanted to select everything here in the mix. So what I would do then is I would go to make sure that it's the file type is WAV. I want these to be exported as stereo files, 44:1, 24-bit. All that's great and grand. Okay. When I go to my range right here, this is where I can select the entire project or just a selection. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that entire project. Zoom back out here. And then what I want to do is up here on the preset at the top in this drop down menu, you've got where you can just export the buses, just export clips in the entire mix, or tracks. And right underneath that, tracks with no automation or effects. Tracks right here, and then tracks with no automation or effects. So essentially the preset's already saved in there. You just have to utilize it. So if I was to go and highlight the tracks, you can see here in the sources, it's going to give me all of the tracks that I need. And then as you can see, the automation and the track effects is actually checked here. So it would export all of these individually as multi-tracks. That would be the easiest way to do it too. And you want to make sure that whenever you do that though, that you highlight one and double click, because then what that's going to do is it's going to set all of them to the same length. Because you can see this last track here, the Addictive Drums track, it's actually longer than the rest of the tracks. So if I just select the tracks by themselves and hit export, it might actually misalign on the timing. So I want to make sure that they're all the same length. That way when they fly them into their DAW, everything is on the up and up. There's no harm, no foul. All right, great questions. Can one select a whole automation envelope? Yes, absolutely. So if I have an automation envelope, let's say on this one here. And as you can see, from this point here to this point here, that's the entirety of the automation. But like, let's say I've got some different things I've put in here, like say this portion right here, I wanted to drop it down. Now, if I wanted to select and highlight all of that, if you just hover just above, you can see that you can actually raise and lower the entire automation. And whenever the cursor turns into sort of that bar, when you go up to the top here, that's whenever you can actually select and highlight and move the entire automation lane. And if at any time you want to delete that entire envelope, you can do that just by right-clicking on it. Awesome. Great questions. 40% off Melodyne products until December 31st. Thanks, DJ Big Red 81 for putting that in there. You're very welcome. Good evening from Nigeria. Oh, wow. All right. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. Okay, I think we're good there. So with that being said, we've got some time to kill. And you know what that means? You know what that means. It's time to spin the wheel of awesomeness. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the wheel of awesomeness. We're going to spin the wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on, that's what we're going to do. Spin it. Okay, it landed on a favorite. Good deal. So by way of the chat, what is your favorite, your all-time favorite feature within Cakewalk by BandLab? What's the one feature that if they took that away tomorrow, you would be crying? You would say, forget this, I'm leaving Cakewalk. Let me know by way of the chat what that would be. And while we're waiting on some answers to come in here as to what is your favorite feature of Cakewalk, let's give a shout out to these individuals who have recently subscribed or have become Patreon members. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. This channel would not be where it's at today without you guys. That's good to note as well. DJ Big Red 81 has just posted in the chat that the Electrum Core, this is a cut down version of the Electrum plugin that we just covered not too long ago here on the channel. In fact, I used it on a live mixing session, and it was absolutely amazing. Loved it. And now they've stripped it down to a smaller version, and you can actually get that for $11. So it's mainly just the amp head and the speaker cabinet and the amp head, I believe. But you put that through anything guitar related, it's going to sound absolutely amazing. All right, so the chat is being populated now with individuals who are answering. All right, so some of our favorite Cakewalk features. Oh, undocking the mixer. Yeah, that's cool. Definitely cool. You can move it around. I have to have, I'm spoiled now. I have to have dual monitors. Ever since I upgraded to dual monitors years ago, I'm never turning back. I will always have dual monitors. It's just so awesome to have a second monitor that you can have your console view here, your track view here. Speeds up my workflow tremendously. So, channel tools. Mike Smith says one of his favorite features is channel tools. And Mike Smith, I have to ask, it looks like in your YouTube profile picture here, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Kirk Franklin? If you're standing there with Kirk Franklin, man, you're going to get one of these. Kirk Franklin is a beast. Got some awesome music. Midnight Blue Movie says that's like choosing your favorite child. Hey, thank you, Big Red 81, for pointing that out. Yeah, there's the review to the Electrum that I did here on the channel. The console view. Awesome. Comping, Melodyne integration, and the Pro channel. Good deal. Is the 32-bit export audio option fixed or floating point? I believe it's floating point. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is. Yeah, you're crazy. If Cakewalk by BandLab took away the ability to review guitars and preset capability, what's a composition without guitar? The Pro channel and each track and bus, favorite feature, nice. The ability to choose different boards in the Pro channel. Yeah, that's definitely cool. New addition, but I have worked with Kirk. Nice. Nice. And I'm telling you what, whenever that song, when he did the remix to Our God is an Awesome God, dude, I was like blown away. It was honestly, it's like, I was like, man, we needed this years ago. This is beautiful. It's all upbeat. Got some brass in there. Ba-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is He's awesome, y'all. I've never been to actually see him in concert. I have a friend that went though, and he said he never stops. From like the time he starts until the time he stops, he's running around the auditorium. He's jumping, he's praising God, evidently full of energy. That would be nice. Yeah, I would love to have Kirk Franklin here on the channel sometime. That would be amazing. Phase correction. Tall someone says era. ERA. Oh. You mean ARA, maybe? Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's called ARA. The mix recall, that's definitely an awesome feature as well. I don't utilize it enough, but it is definitely an awesome feature. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, if there are no other questions, we're going to go ahead and conclude today's, it's sort of a brief live stream, but we are going to be uploading here very shortly to the Patreon page, our breakdown of the Beatles track, A Day in the Life. You don't want to miss that. It's very cool. In fact, there was a lot of stuff that I learned from that I had no clue about. Much like the Michael Jackson videos, it has really made me appreciate their work even more. I never really was a big Beatles fan, but this might be a defining moment for me. It's funny how all these bands that I've never really been that big of a fan of, I start listening to their raw tracks and really diving into their music. It gives you a whole new appreciation for the artist and for the bands. So, all right, guys. Well, until next time, we do have a playlist that's available that you definitely want to check out, because there's going to be some cool, the Carol interview. Sarah Carter, maybe? I had Sarah Carter, but I have not, she's not followed up with me as of yet. I do have a follow-up email actually right here today. I'm going to be following up with Stephen Slate to get him on the channel here soon. That's going to be a cool little talk there. I don't know about Carol though. I didn't know I was going to have Carol on here. I don't know of a Carol. Carol of the Bells, maybe. Okay, so with that being said, let the weirdness ensue. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and hop off here today, but we are going to have a lot of cool stuff rolling out from your friends over at BandLab, over at 𝗖𝗍𝗄𝐿 Multimedia. If you have not checked out the chat, or the chat, as you can see, I'm like all over the place here. If you have not checked out the videos playlist, rather, A Studio Without Walls, you're going to want to check that out. This is the
events calendar.
Oops. I'm actually trying to share the playlist now. This is going to be a really cool little take on just exactly how we can remove ourselves from where we are now, stuck inside of these four walls, so to speak, and take our studio outside into the public, outside into where nature, can inspire and touch us. So, yes, the Beatles. That will be on the Patreon page. So, thanks, Robert, for the great stream. Stay safe, creative, you all out there. Do you know if Cakewalk plans to implement the LP-EQ and the LP-MB plugins that were in Sonar Platinum? They should still be there. If they are not, send me an email at 𝗏𝗠𝗶𝘅 and I will see if I can't get them to you. But they should be there. In fact, what happens a lot of times that I see, let me get to the right screen here, is that when individuals go to the Cakewalk plugin manager, they scan for their plugins, but they also do not check this box where it says show excluded. So gotcha. Midnight Blue Movies Pro Mix Academy just released Mixing with Carol King. You may have been thinking that. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Actually, I just talked to Warren the other day too, and he's actually talking about bringing me back on the channel again to do another sort of a cakewalk style video. So looking forward to that. Hopefully that'll take place soon. Got a lot of cool things coming up in the next year. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Click the bell icon, because I have noticed, my analytics tell me that 87% of the people that find these videos are not subscribers. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to this channel. And then that way, whenever you see these giveaways coming that are going to be here soon, the song contests are going to be happening on top of the monthly song contest. We still have that one going on, which, by the way, the deadline, if you have not submitted your monthly song contest submission, the deadline is going to be the 27th. So you still have roughly a week and a few days to get in on that. So with that being said, hey, what is up? We have a newcomer. I don't speak Hebrew, so I cannot pronounce your name. I wonder if that's 𝗖𝗄𝗏𝗏. I'm not sure. It was good to have you here, nonetheless. Yeah, hopefully that's the case, DJ. We're going to try to do another cakewalk course over there, but instead of it being just a cakewalk course, it's going to be like mixing in cakewalk, or that way it'll be more of a broad spectrum, because the last one that I did, where it was just the ultimate Cakewalk by BandLab tutorial course, was great for people who already owned Cakewalk or who thought about owning it. But this is going to be more geared towards a broad spectrum of people who you can use any DAW and achieve the same results. I'm just going to be showing it through Cakewalk by BandLab. So, all right. So until next time, guys, remember, you know the drill. We can dream alone. We can even create alone. Oh, hold on. We're not hopping off yet. We got another question. Let's see what we got here. I've got some questions about Cakewalk. I want to take profit as much as possible of this software. Is it possible to employ launch pads in Cakewalk? I do believe it is. I do believe it is. With that being said, if there is anything that you're kind of wondering, like you're iffy about, can I use this? Will it work? There is a forum where you can always go and ask questions. And with that being said, let me post a link to that. Hey, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. How's it going, buddy? You just caught the last half of this session here. We're winding it up, getting some last minute forum links here for individuals. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so if you would like to go and ask some questions that maybe were not answered on today's episode, you can always go in here to the forum and let them know that Robert sent you. Say, hey guys, I got a question. I was just on Robert's live stream, whatever it might be. Thanks, all cakewalks. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Music, thank you so much. You should also consider making a video with Mike Inyo of Creative Sauce. That would be awesome. Yeah, we did something not too long ago. It went over pretty well. So thanks, Robert, for the platform. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. If you guys ever have questions music related that I haven't answered here as well, you can always hop on the HSS collab group and you can ask them there. I usually pop in there once to twice a day just to see what's going on. Of course, I'll get a notification on my phone too. That always helps to let me know that someone's asking a question that needs answered. And if I can't answer it, then someone else in the chat will actually get to that as well. So, and I'm going to real quickly post a link to that too. Oops. All right. This is like multitasking on crack. Okay. If you guys could see, I've got two screens. I've got 4 different browser things open in here. So if I ever get to a point where I'm just like staring off into space and you see me starting to like drool coming out the side of my mouth and yeah. Anyway, thank you all for being here today. God bless each and every one of you. I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah or whatever it's called in your neck of the woods. But with that being said, thank you each and every one of you for showing up on the channel today. Real quickly, Jossie Music says, what's your favorite console emulation mode? I would have to say it's the S style. I call it the subtle style. It's the one I usually bake into every single mix of mine. But yeah, until next time, keep an eye out for next week. Next week, we'll probably have a few more streams than we normally do. I'm hoping to have maybe some special guests on. I'm hoping to have maybe even a Christmas giveaway. Just going to kind of throw that out there. But we shall see. So until next time, though, remember, we can dream alone. We can even create alone. But together,